Hi guys, Rebe Long here, and I'm joined with my friend Kennedy, who leads a Richardson West small group of girls going into 7th grade. We're continuing in our mini-series, God Taught Me, and so Kennedy's going to share what God has been teaching her lately.
Hey guys, so this summer I had the opportunity to read 1st and 2nd Corinthians. There were so many incredible things that I got to take away from diving into the Word each day. Probably one of the most impactful lessons on my life was just learning about how God uses hard times for both bringing glory to His name, but also making me more in the image of Christ. In 2 Corinthians 11, Paul talks about the many trials and tribulations he went through as he was sharing the gospel to all the churches. And believe me, it was no walk in the park. I mean, look at all the things that Paul went through. 3 times he was beaten with rods. Once he was pelted with stones. 3 times he was shipwrecked, and he spent a day and a night in the open sea. But in the end, his main concern was for the gospel. Let's look at what he says in verse 28. Besides everything else, I face daily the pressure of my concern for all the churches. After being whipped, beaten, and nearly killed, Paul's heart continues to break for those who don't know the gospel. And in the end, Paul realizes that God is using him for greater good. Now, I know I'm no Paul, but to me, this situation reminds me of when I was back in high school and I didn't make the cheer squad. And I know what you're thinking. Maybe that's not a big deal. But to me, as a 9th grader, that was everything. All summer, I'm going to the gym, I'm working on my tumbling, I'm doing everything I possibly can to make this cheer squad. I walk into auditions, I give it my best shot, I go back and I look at the list of girls who have made the team, and I'm not on it. And at that time in my life, that was the hardest thing that I had went through. I was devastated. My heart was broken because this is something that I thought was my best. Even though not making the cheer squad is not the same as being shipwrecked, Paul's response in 2 Corinthians chapter 12 is very relatable. Check out verse 9. But God said to me, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weakness, so that Christ's power may rest upon me." So whether it's not making the cheer squad or the many other things that I have gone through in my life up until this point, God has taught me through these verses that no matter what, I will always need Him, even in my greatest strengths and weaknesses, and that in my weaknesses, He's using that to bring glory to His name. So here's what I want to leave you with. We all are experiencing hard times in our life. Some of us, what we would consider right now, the greatest trials of our life. And that looks different in so many people's lives. Whether it's you not getting an A+, you not making the cheer squad, or you not getting a text back from your best friend. They're all hurts and what we could consider weaknesses. But they all remind us and point us back to the truth that apart from Christ, we can do nothing, that we always need Him. So let me challenge you with this. Is your main priority in life to bring greater glory to yourself? Or is it to share the gospel with those who don't know Christ?